K-Pop Demon Hunters, arguably the most popular movie of the year, and if not overall, then for sure in terms of original animation. I took proper precautions of watching this movie twice in order to actually find something to talk about that I haven't seen talked about anywhere else. This movie has been out for 2 months at this point, so me making this video should prove to you that I actually have something to say beyond what others have, and that if I didn't feel confident I'd add on to this conversation, this video wouldn't exist. Of course, I have been listening to these songs over and over like an incurable plague that maybe you're okay with. And just everything about this movie screamed video essay worthy, but come on guys, this movie is called K-Pop Demon Hunters. Let's just say that title doesn't exactly raise any eyebrows when you don't know the context of how good it is. Better late than never, I suppose, and honestly, I'm quite fine with being late to the party because that means I have more time to digest the film. A small little thing too, I made a Discord server. Free to join, and you can get cool sneak peeks for upcoming videos, and you can interact with me personally as I'm pretty active on there. Just check the description if you want the link. With that said, I think it's best if we start this video. So let's talk about how K-Pop Demon Hunters teaches us how to write a guilty villain. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I'm trying to reach 40,000 subscribers by the end of the year and I need your help. Now let's get one thing I know I'm going to get flack for out of the way. I can tell some people are going to argue Jinu is an antagonist, not a villain, but I actually disagree big time. Jinu is a secondary villain to the story, and just because he has a redemption in the end doesn't mean he's not a villain. He also is partaking in a plan that would steal the souls of millions of people, so it's not like he's an antagonist where he's just against Rumi, but instead he's just full on against humanity. Think of him like Darth Vader of K-pop. Jinu has an Emperor Palpatine above him, but Darth Vader isn't suddenly not a villain because he's redeemed by Luke. No, he's a villain, and the same applies to Jinu, and the interesting thing about him is that he is a very guilty one. So guilty that he tries to manipulate everyone around him into a story that paints him in a sadder light, disregarding what actually happened, but we need some more background before we get to his background. For starters, Jinu's character development is easily the most complex in the entire movie. That's why I picked him to talk about. From the very first scene we see him in, we're not supposed to root for him. He's taking the fight closer to home with the Hunters, a plan that he, or at most the Saja boys, came up with. This is a villain intro, something every villain needs in order to be taken seriously. You see, if Jinu just appeared for the first time during Soda Pop and not anywhere else before that, this would have been a huge disservice to the lore that this movie has already established so far. It's shown really early on that these demons have been fighting the Hunters for centuries. Sure, it took them a long time to say, how about we try to steal the spotlight from the Hunters, but when we're talking about how easily accessible music is nowadays, it makes sense why now was the perfect time. If we didn't get to see Jinu unfold his plan slowly to Mr. Frontman by playing what sounds to be an older song by an older instrument to then pulling out their teenage angst, how can we take this K-pop boy band seriously if the first time we see them is when they start singing about how they want to drink people? Sure, you might argue that, well, their character arc would have started out with a banger, but without the scene showing that this is all an act before seeing that act, the Saja boys and Jinu as a whole become a lot more realistic of a threat. So while I was writing the script for this video, I listened to Soda Pop trying to figure out if there's any subliminal messaging, and I'm not actually totally sure if any other video has talked about this yet, but I'm gonna tell you what I found. So if you listen to the song, keeping in mind that the Saja boys are demons who suck people's souls, it actually opens up this whole song to a whole new perspective. So the subliminal messaging is that when they talk about wanting to drink people, they're secretly referring to how their end goal is to suck up every single soul from every single body, basically saying that they're using soda for a stand-in for humans. To back this up, this is a real lyric from the song. I waited so long for the taste of soda, so the wait is over, baby. And basically, this is foreshadowing for how popular this song would become and how this is the first step of their plan to capture the souls of everyone. It's not some grand revelation. I mean, it's actually more obvious than I thought it would be, but keep that in mind the next time you're re-listening to the song. Moving on, we see Jinu actually help Rumi, something we wouldn't really expect when it comes to what we know about demons and how the Hunters portray them. Him learning that Rumi is a demon also shows us how demons view the Hunters, as he's completely taken aback by this. I think the reason Rumi being a part demon is so important to the story is because it really makes Jinu reflect on himself, and without that character arc from Rumi, the world would have been soulless. Basically, what the writers did was use the development of a character to affect another, leading to Jinu becoming more curious and wanting to meet up with her. Now, before we fully move on to some later events in the movie, I want to talk about the quote love story that this movie has. Now, I am a sap when it comes to a good love story, but K-Pop Demon Hunters, I would not consider one. I don't consider Jinu or Rumi into each other in a way a lot of people think. Now, I don't believe this is some Romeo and Juliet story where they're star-crossed lovers, but instead their love story is actually each other finding love in the sides of them they have suppressed. Let me explain. For a long portion in the middle of the movie, we get to see Jinu and Rumi hang out, with the obvious will they won't they chemistry come in between the two. Although the movie makes you believe they're into each other throughout the film, we see Rumi grapple with her demon side, and when she finally meets a demon who isn't actively trying to steal souls, she's intrigued by that because maybe if she can understand a demon, maybe some others would be able to understand her as a demon. Same thing with Jinu. When he meets a hunter who's like him, that intrigues him and makes him reflect and open up about his past, telling her he made a deal with the devil and that gave him success for a bit before having all of that crumble down. Their love story is about loving themselves through their opposites. But you know how I said he opened up to her? Well, turns out he was lying and actually abandoned his family to starve and most likely die. But this asks a question. Why did he lie? Well, it's because he's guilty. This is where the title of this video comes into play. He's guilty of letting his family go, and he's guilty that he's gone behind the back of Gui Ma, and that's why he goes back on everything he said to Rumi to become the villain once again. So I did talk about Soda Pop earlier, but before I become Captain Obvious, I want to challenge you, the viewers, to comment your own analysis on your idol, because it's actually really easy, and maybe one of you out there will find a love for analyzing things like I do. I did analyze it, but it's very straightforward if you listen to it, so that's why I think this would be a fun little scavenger hunt if you're willing to try, and also to cut some of the excessive filler talking about that song would do to this video. Now, after all that, we come to the end of his character arc for the movie, at least. Now, I don't want to say this for sure, but I definitely believe Jinu will be in the sequel. I just have a hunch that he'll either be in some nightmare dream sequence, flashback, or just be alive, and I'm confident in saying that all three of those options could be possible at the same time. With that said, Jinu sacrifices himself because Rumi does what he thought wasn't possible, and that is standing up to Gui Ma as a demon. Unsurprisingly if you've seen this movie, but although the thumbnail and title refer to Jinu, this video essay is also about Rumi too, because without Rumi, none of the movie would have played out the way it did. Rumi's demon side is not a curse, and that is what convinces Jinu into sacrificing himself for her and the rest of the humans because he had found the human side to him that he thought he lost forever 400 years ago. Jinu is a guilty villain because he knows what he is doing is wrong, but he can't help himself and still applies himself to make sure that Gui Ma gets what he wants in the end, and although maybe it didn't fully go to plan, he was redeemed by the one person that could redeem him. And he got to die / maybe not die, knowing once that he was doing something for good. I think that overall, KPop Demon Hunters taught us all that movies we may not think will be good may actually just need a chance. I'm not saying that every unpromising movie will be good, but a trailer or title is just a trailer or title, but the actual finished movie is what truly matters. Also, there's nothing wrong with original films if you actually apply yourself to make a movie that is good. Really quick, as an official affiliate partner of NordVPN, I'd love to recommend you to the description or pinned comment where you'll be sent to the official website of the fastest VPN there is for an exclusive offer of 77% off and an extra generous 3 months. You really got to be careful on the internet nowadays, and not being able to watch your favorite movies on your favorite streaming service because it's not in your region won't be a problem anymore with Nord. So please trust me, I won't steer you wrong, and allow me to assist you and recommend you to the best VPN on the market, because remember, protection is important, especially online. With that said, thank you everybody for watching. I'm Enchanted. Bye.